Hell yeah, Jurassic Park is back, mofos. I hope. Jurassic World Dominion is brought to us by director Colin Trevorrow and stars Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Sam Neill. 4 years after the destruction of Isla Nublar, dinosaurs now live and hunt alongside humans all over the world. This fragile balance will reshape the future and determine once and for all whether human beings are to remain apex predators on a planet they now share with history's most fearsome creatures in a new era. So Jurassic World Dominion is the 6th Jurassic Park movie, and while all of the sequels have always seemed as if they were just trying to live up to the greatness of the original, this one had a lot of promise because the dinosaurs are now out in the world. This is something fans have been wanting since the second Jurassic Park, The Lost World. And while we did get glimpses of that in that film, it wasn't quite what we were looking for. We wanted more. Well, after the end of the last chapter, the very disappointing The Lost Kingdom, dinosaurs are now among us. So the story this time around is, well, let's just say it's not the greatest, but that's okay. We don't need a really deep, great story when it comes to a Jurassic Park flick. We just need some really cool set pieces with dinosaurs chasing people and them just narrowly escaping. Or at least that's what I thought we needed, because we do get a lot of that, but somehow this movie still doesn't quite live up. I'm gonna go ahead and go on record and say that this movie is definitely better than the last entry, The Lost Kingdom. While the first half of that movie was okay, I mean, it was entertaining enough. Around the halfway point when they leave the island, yeah, it just really sucked after that. And Jurassic World Dominion kind of follows a similar formula, but does it a bit better. And in reverse. You see, the first half of this movie takes place in civilization, what we've all been saying we wanted for so long, and the second half takes place in more of an island setting that we're used to. And as much as we've been saying for years that we want to see these dinosaurs in civilization, out there, kind of like Godzilla, the 2 times so far that this franchise has given that to us, it hasn't really paid off. And that first part of this movie, when we get all of that, is the least entertaining of the whole entire thing. Things don't ever really pick up until they get back to one of the islands, which leads me to believe, even though we've been saying we want that for so many years, that might not be what we really want. Clearly these characters and dinosaurs and all of that work better in these more secluded island settings. Either that, or they have not yet found a director who can do it in more urban city environments, and hell, they had Steven Spielberg the first 2 times around, so I don't know who the fuck else you're gonna get to do any better. One of the things that this movie suffers from the most would just be complacency. It's just kind of there. There's nothing like spectacular, nothing awe-inspiring about it. A Jurassic Park movie at one point in time meant something. It was a big event. You looked on like the characters in the films in just awe at what you were seeing, but now it's just another movie. There's nothing truly exciting that happens in this movie. There are some set pieces, especially closer to the end, that are fun, but none of them are like, holy shit, exciting like many of the scenes from the first film. Hell, I'd go as far as to say none of the scenes in this movie really stack up to some of the scenes in the second and even third films. The whole thing just seems kind of soulless. Everybody here doesn't really seem like they want to be here. They seem like they're just here because they signed a contract saying they had to be years ago. Nobody's like bad, but nobody's particularly good either. They're just fine. The new era characters such as Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard just don't really add anything to this. They are the main characters in the film, but you really don't care about any of their motivations, and it kind of seems like they don't really care about any of their motivations. Now, one thing that does set this one apart from the other Jurassic World films would be that this time around we do get all the legacy characters back. Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, B.D. Wong, hell, even the guy who played Dodgson in the first movie, which has a much bigger role in this film than I ever thought he would. I was really just waiting for Samuel L. Jackson to show up missing an arm. And I'd like to say that it was great to see these beloved characters back in action, but much like the newer Jurassic World characters, they're just kind of here. It doesn't really seem like they want to be here. That magic that these characters had in the Spielberg films is just not on display here. And seeing how the story is just kind of whatever, you really want to lean into the characters. You want some characters that you really want and like to follow, but these characters, even the legacy ones that we have a connection to, you just don't care. So then that just leaves us with the exciting dinosaur scenes. And like I said earlier on, yeah, they do a better job here than Fallen Kingdom did, but they are nowhere near as exciting as the original films. Hell, they don't even really live up to the original Jurassic World's exciting scenes. I mean, like the performances and the characters, they're not bad, but they're just kind of there. They're going through the paces. It all looks great. This is a $200 million+ movie, and it is Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park has always had really good special effects. But even in that regard, the special effects are nowhere near as awe-inspiring as they once were. And that's not just the effects that make these scenes awe-inspiring. If you look back at the 1993 original, there are moments in that film that you can watch in 2022 that are still awe-inspiring, because it's not just how good the effects look, it's the way that it's shot. It's the filmmaking on display. You just can't show something big and exotic and it just do the work for you. You have to build up to it. You have to set your scene up to make it awe-inspiring. It's not just what you're seeing, it is how it's delivered to us. And in this film, it's just kind of put there and you're supposed to be like, oh wow, raptors and T-Rexes and brontosauruses and all that shit. Yay. It wasn't enough in 1993 and it's not enough now. So yeah, I was overall not really that impressed with this film. Nothing about it inspired any type of wonder. Nothing about it was too terribly exciting. None of the characters or the performances were that likable. And that's pretty disappointing because this is fucking Jurassic Park. Awe and wonder and excitement is just supposed to be part of its DNA, but much like the creatures that they've created in this film, I think maybe they cut that part out. Guys, Jurassic World Dominion wasn't a terrible film, but it wasn't a terribly good film either. It checks all the boxes that it's supposed to, but somehow doesn't quite bring it all together. It's definitely an improvement over the last installment, but that's not really saying much, and it never even gets anywhere close to the original films. It's not absolute dumpster juice, that's for sure, but if you are gonna check this one out, I would recommend checking it out on streaming.
Across the street.
Man, they're just like taking all the franchises we used to look forward to new installments in. Star Wars, Marvel, and now Jurassic Park, and just making them kinda meh. I mean, it is an improvement, but not by much. So there it is, guys, my review of Jurassic World Dominion. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you want to help out the channel, check out my Patreon in the description below and become a jarhead and get some of the awesome benefits to go along with that, like these guys. And possibly check out my top tier and become a bad motherfucker like my man Dragon Con, Silverlock, and Marge G. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, Isla Nublar.
Run!
See? Not so bad.
Now I know that like Chris Pratt is supposed to be like the fucking raptor whisperer or something in these movies, but what the fuck? In this movie, in his backyard essentially, there's a fucking raptor living. I don't give a fuck how good of friends you think you and this prehistoric predator are, it is living in your back fucking yard, and you live like in the cold, where shit dies and hides really good. So chances are it's gonna run out of a food supply at some point and get hungry one day. You're gonna walk outside to get some fucking firewood or something, that bitch is gonna pounce on you and rip your goddamn guts out and eat your face. Yeah, let me know how that whole talk to the hand thing you do to her all the time works out then, buddy. Oh, you won't be able to because you'll be fucking dead.